were delayed a while. Nowhere near as long as it is in Qatar. You still favour Ducati to get there in front. And if Quartararo can get a brilliant start for him to still lead out front, and that could be a crucial part of the race.
And then that puts pressure on Quartararo and Rins to make something happen, make some risky overtakes. We do know. Seen Fabio Quartararo go for that hard Michelin rear tyre. Let's hear the thoughts on that and some general tyre selection thoughts from...
Some last-minute changes to the hard. Can you tell us what you see happening in the race today, tyre-wise?
Viñales and Morbidelli, they changed to hard rear. So now we have 3 Yamaha, rest with this medium rear. So we'll see, but both tires.
Piero, thank you, and good luck.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Thanks very much, Simon. Thanks to Piero Tommaso. It's interesting. Earns his first race in 265 days. It was 9 months ago today in MotoGP. It's on the way next. A bold move from Yamaha, Matt.
Yeah, and it looks like as well, Michelin releasing some info getting in the commentary box that they have all switched over to that hard rear tyre. It's going to be all about the start, though, isn't it, for Zarco and Miller on that plunge down the hill into the first corner.
130 beats per minute, but it looks as though we're set to go. Excellent as well, but as we shoot down to turn 1, Rins has it, but here comes Zarco. He leads into turn 1.
Marquez, and he's up to 4th place already, trying to find a way through on Jack Miller into turn 3.
What a start from Joan Mir as well, number 36. Look at him. He's up alongside Pecco Bagnaia. It's Zarco the lead, goes through into 3rd again.
Yeah, and that also cost Miller a place on Mir as well. He had to run out wide onto the dirty part of the track.
6 or 7 corners into the race.
Maverick Viñales had an absolute nightmare. Viñales started 12th. He was
what an appalling start. Mir up the inside of Marquez.
Yeah,
and there's
there you
contact.
Go. That's some early payback for yesterday. Controversially so on Jack Miller last time out in Qatar.
Oh, Rins thought about the move there. Up the inside
from Joan Mir, got himself up brilliantly. He's already recovered 6 places on this opening lap. Good start as well. Start for the Monster Energy Yamahas though. Quartararo on pole. He's going to come over the line 5th or 6th, and Viñales has only got he dropped 5 places. Oh,
that
was tight. Pecco Bagnaia trying to recover up some ground on the brakes into the first corner.
Oh, he touches the rear wheel there of Joan Mir. Yeah. Just about stays on. That's worked out well for Quartararo.
It really on through. Quartararo himself had a big moment coming out of turn 4.
There is Mark there, and he's dropped back behind and front wheel on rear wheel. Sometimes that can go horribly wrong.
Yeah, Marquez could easily have gone down there, couldn't he? In 2021, isn't it? After their battle in Q1 yesterday, they've had a couple of contacts already today in this Grand Prix. We're not even.
And Taka Nakagami.
What on earth happened to Maverick Viñales on that 4th row? He's lost 4 seconds on that opening lap.
Towards Zarco, he said he wanted to lead. Oh, there's a move there from Aleix Espargaro, I think, on Marquez. Has that one for place at the front though. Oh, the front end is moving around there for Pramac Ducati rider Johan Zarco.
How good the braking stability of the Suzuki is, but Zarco's just too many yards ahead for him to make a clean move. Pinch that place back into turn 2. You bet he can.
Yeah, there are a couple of proper fighters, aren't they, on Sundays? Morbidelli.
Did well to get through on Marquez when he did. Here's Miller coming from a long way back into turn 5 on Fabio Quartararo. Brief trip into the top 4 for the Aussie.
Zarco can't shrug off this interest from Aldi.
For Suzuki to be in this position early on, 2nd and 3rd on just the 3rd lap of the race, this bodes.
They will not get a better chance of getting 2 men on the podium.
They're not having to use that extra grip of the rear tyre. He's got the inside line. There's not quite enough room for him to take the lead.
That was so close. He's dropped down to 17th behind Rossi and Bastianini.
Viñales is now last. What is going on? He's down in 21st place. A disaster for the Top Gun, who's misfiring big time.
To 3rd. Good move from Quartararo on Joan Mir, that.
And already we've seen what we thought would happen if Ducati, Mir and Quartararo at bay. So far, so good for the World Championship leader.
We've got a race on here. We have got a Ducati Suzuki, Yamaha Suzuki Ducati. Marquez is now fallen behind Brad Binder, so Marquez already...
That Desmond Sadici will be able to keep ahead of Alex Rins' Suzuki. Bit of a twitch on the rear tyre for Mir.
Behind Brad Binder, who's made up another place then. Mir thought about a move back on Quartararo, but for now...
Crowd hero Miguel Oliveira at the moment, he's down in 12th place at this stage. Here he goes. Rins tried that on the last lap.
Rins is going to have the corner speed around turn 15, but Zarco's got the speed on the straight.
Sector 4 is where the Suzuki, and you can see Rins there already able to pull out of what, 2 or 3 bike lengths, but he might get swallowed up now by the straight and that 1 kilometre straight in Losail. But there was nothing that Rins could do. Miller getting a bit erratic.
Miguel Oliveira, he's made a mistake again. He just set the fastest lap of the race and he must have gone
4 bike lengths on Zarco coming through turn 15, and then they crested up the hill, and then before they got the
Repsol Honda rider. I don't know if he's feeling the ill effects of the crash that he had from yesterday.
He was really badly beaten up, wasn't he?
Sure.
Paul Espargaro is an absolute warrior. There's no way after just 5 laps he's going to pull in with any physical problems. Is Espargaro into the pits early doors?
Maverick Vinales is still in 20th place.
Oh, Rins again. That tyre to line, just released the brakes a little bit later than Johann Zarco, so that's twice in 2 laps. That's just marginally offline, and as he asked for the power, rear tyre spun up underneath him. It was just a small move.
Zarco through on both of them, but Quartararo's having none of it. He stays in 2nd place.
Yeah, this is in that game of dare, the game of chance on the brakes into turn 1. It was won by Rins and Quartararo. Jack Miller crashes out of podium contention, then here in Portimao, pain in Portimao.
Quartararo and fellow Frenchman, the World Championship leader, Johann Zarco. Then it's Mir, Aleix Espargaro, behind Aleix Espargaro here. Wow, that's so peculiar. What happened there?
Race winner from last year, he's dropped down to 15th place. Shout out to Taka Nakagami. Heroic performance to the moment. Not an inch of his body is not without incessant pain, and he's in the point scoring places right now. On that
Someone else
lap,
has gone down.
2.1 seconds slower than Rins.
Is that another bike that's gone down in our ears? I'm sure from here in November.
A dream win 4 months ago to an absolute nightmare then for Miguel Oliveira. Vinales must have some kind of major problem. He's 2 seconds away from the race leading pace.
Of course, factory Ducati hopes now have just pinned on his shoulders after the crash of Jack Miller. Morbidelli
have already exited stage left very early on here. Oliveira the race winner and Jack Miller second in the port.
Something must be going wrong because the lap before that he was doing a
Now Vinales has got down to a 41 flat, which is still a second away from where he needs to be.
Quartararo, Joan Mir and Johann Zarco. Mir is closing on the group. He's still in the top 10.
Gaining some gold experience there, isn't he? The rookie. Great job by him.
Around turn 15 we go. Fabio Quartararo looks a bit closer again to Alex Rins. Now comes through naturally on the straight past Mir into 3rd.
Yeah, he's having to work really hard, isn't he, Zarco, to try and run the pace. And 1.
Oh, Rins is really wide, and now they're side by side. Luckily, he's got the inside line for turn. He's now warming into things. He's got the heat in that hard tyre. If he gets to the front, he could have a chance to break away.
Racing is the old cliche. Brad Binder's taken 6th place from Aleix Espargaro. We said he was a stunned by him. He's come from 15th.
What a rider Brad Binder is. It's unbelievable, isn't he? Aleix then has dropped to 8th. Marc Marquez 9th. Further back, Alex Marquez is 11th. Ross. We're on board here with Fabio Quartararo, who was putting in 139s from that again.
8 laps in the 139 bracket yesterday for Fabio Quartararo in that crucial FP4 session. No Rins dropping down the hill into the braking zone for the first corner.
Here he going
for it? Yeah, he's got the move done. He's got the
content there, Fabio Quartararo, but you have to admire the way he's gone about his business here. He didn't panic after the rough start.
He's got his head down and did those 4 155 ones in succession. Broke the Ducatis behind him from the Suzukis of Rins and Mir.
Yeah, watch the start here for Quartararo. Initially, actually, as the lights go out, not a bad start. The Yamaha, oh, there's almost contact there between him and Rins. Immediately, he's beaten by 2 Ducatis.
Start that he wanted. Look at that, yeah, there was definite contact there between Quartararo and Rins launching off.
He didn't panic. He knows he's got the speed underneath him, Quartararo. He was helped a little by
7, 8, 9 bike lengths on the Spaniard already. This is just the way he executed that brilliant perfection right now for Quartararo.
Yeah, across the line. This will be a 39, surely it is.
That's what we just mentioned, but he's doing exactly what he did in Doha. Get to the front, get your head down and try and clear off. A real strong ride actually was Jack Miller, quickest in this morning's warm-up session, in podium contention when he had a rather...
This is Marc Marquez, that's how the championship would look. Fabio Quartararo would take the lead from Johann Zarco as things...
I don't know if he touched the throttle or it was like the rear pushed the front let go. Just went up the moment because he's so clever at not giving the tyres a hard time. 100% sure he's doing that, but that's what I'm waiting to see if he does.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. So often last front.
The Suzukis all weekend have been brilliant in Sector 3, where you need that agility, that manoeuvrability and a bit of turning speed. Quartararo has been untouchable in this 4th sector. He's been really, really strong. And again, look at the gap he's able to... Personal best lap of the race, a 1:40.069. It was only 300ths quicker than Quartararo ahead of...
for the South African Brad Binder, who somehow, despite having shown no pace to be
right on podium pace as well are the men in 7th and 8th, Bagnaia and Aleix Espargaro. They've just exchanged 40.
Down by Bagnaia, as Matt just mentioned, getting into his rhythm. At the front, though, the Suzuki's Qatar, as to whether or not the Yamaha could put in a performance similar to that once we got back into Europe. I think the question's been...
Still don't think he's done a lap in the 140, Steve. It's another 141 low from Vinales. It's been an unmitigated... His factory Yamaha teammate Fabio Quartararo leading this Portuguese Grand Prix.
To charge. Is it time to wind things back? He's got full heat now into that hard rear tyre. Sector 4
corner speed with the Suzuki's no mug, is it, in terms of corner speed? Quartararo then again dips down into those high, and that's the best lap of the race so far. 4 tenths he is now, eked out ahead of Alex Rins. Academy colleague Franco Morbidelli. This has been a real good charge through the pack by Bagnaia. Quite a bit of time lap record at the end of Q2 yesterday, wiped out for the yellow flag infringement. Of course, the big crunch.
Interesting for Aleix Espargaro, Matt. The same sort of situation as Qatar, where in the early laps...
Just struggling to go at the moment with Quartararo and Rins ahead of him. There's nothing between their lap times, but you can throw over a second for the first time.
Quartararo still has some bother here from us.
The Suzuki so gentle on its tyres, and Alex Rins has got the finesse, hasn't he? He's not an aggressive rider. It's like be really strong in terms of tyre management as well. This man's not bad when it comes to that job as well. Yeah, we need to keep an eye on. It's the Italian Pecco Bagnaia, who had good pace all weekend in terms of race this position.
You're right about Joan Mir as well, Matt. He's just coming under a bit of attack again now from...
It was a big one. Mir a 40.3, Rins a 39.7, so 6 tenths the gap.
Well, but
look how much he's been able to gap Binder and Aleix Espargaro, Steve. Once he got through on the KTM.
Great onboard shots of this undulating circuit in Portugal. On board here with the Suzuki of Alex Rins looking up to
lap times at the moment. 140.4 over the line last time for the Doctor. Well, that was only a tenth slower.
In terms of race pace there, because yesterday he couldn't get into anywhere near the mid-140s.
They've obviously found the...
In we go. There will be 12 laps to go. We've reached the halfway point of this race in Portugal.
Yeah, quite clear. Joan Mir's going to have his hands full hanging on to that podium finish. He's the first Motogp World Champion since the late great Nicky Hayden back in 2007. He won't want to make it 3 in a row.
He was just missing that little bit of experience. Last year didn't go to plan, but this is a turbocharged.
The better endurance, having plumped on the grid late on for the hard rear compound. Weekend, Michelin did say if the track goes over 35 degrees, then the hard rear tyre certainly does come behind Valentino Rossi. Well, he's lapping at the same pace as his teammate Alex Marquez. He's a little bit further up the road.
Team principal keeping an eye on Johann Zarco, the championship leader. He won't be the championship leader as things stand.
Credit to Zarco. He got himself into the high 139s on that last lap himself. 39.8 on the start-finish rate. You bet he can. There's your answer. And it's a fairly emphatic one, isn't it? Quartararo and Rins yet 9.654 for Quartararo, immediately bettered with a 39.598 from Rins. Having to work so hard in the twisty sections of Portimao just to try and keep that position. And Zarco blitzes on by like Mir standing still.
Alex Rins is keeping the pressure on Fabio Quartararo.
All he can do, try and force the Frenchman into some kind of an error. At the moment, it's been picture perfect for Fabio.
Himself in prime positions from the word go.
But it is far too late for him to have any impact on this Grand Prix.
Someone's gone down.
There's been another crash, hasn't there?
It is. Valentino Rossi has crashed. What a shame for him, because he just hit some decent pace.
At the start of this Grand Prix, we had 3 sets of brothers involved. Marini and Rossi in the battle, and that's the Marquez brothers, who at the moment are 9th and 10th.
Bagnaia closes on his
recent record, Steve. Now that's just 12 points scored in his last 9 races.
I think he'd be pleased to get out of here. Jerez is a circuit he adores, and let's hope that he Binder in 7th, Aleix Espargaro behind him. Marc Marquez, to his credit, at this stage of the race, in 40s, not bad at all.
Yeah, Franco Morbidelli's getting a hurry up as well. That's when he's going to catch out the Doctor. Tips it in.
Oh, that went incredibly early, didn't it?
Yeah. Track limits warning for Franco Morbidelli. So he's got to be pretty careful. Maverick Vinales is only in the point scoring places right now, but 14th is not going to cut it if you want to win a world title in MotoGP.
And through he goes. Bagnaia up into 5th place now.
luxury position is to make your passes on the brakes going into corners, which puts you in that really precarious zone when there's to get over that crest and attack. It's just like we said, free time. You don't really have to put in much effort as long as you...
Then Quattararo from Alex Rins. Zarco in a bit of a lonely third now.
He's got some cracking pace right now. Resistance of the world champion, 39.7 on that last circuit for Johan Zarco. 10th of Marquez has just crossed the line to the 40 flat, which when you consider his physical condition and the length of time he's been out, 18 long days since Marc Marquez actually saw a checkered flag in the Motogp World Championship when he was victorious and accomplished. He'll want to get a real good test on where he's at with that recovering right arm over the full race distance.
For months and months and months, people have been wondering how he'd come back. Look at these times from the two guys at 39.471 from Alex Rins. Almost identical times.
Rins is, at the moment, those cracks not appearing at all. Rock solid, isn't he, Quattararo? Every time Rins looks like he's going to exert that pressure to try and show Quattararo a front wheel. There was 1/1000th of a second between the pair of them.
Next in Qatar, 4th 2 weeks ago. He's going up in increments of 2 at the moment because he's not buckling under the pressure.
Yeah, and he's been asked some massive questions here at the weekend. The Yamaha M1 just gets that rear tyre hooked up and he can carry lots of corner speed, which is the he's able to pull those 5 or 6 bike lengths on Alex Rins, which just makes sure that Rins can't get close enough.
Rins.
If Alex Rins finishes in this race second tonight, Steve, he will be able to go on the day. You're just beaten by the marginally better man at the moment. Fabio Quattararo is in that position.
Because Bagnaia, someone's gone down. Bagnaia goes up a place. Who's crashed out? Who's crashed out?
He makes blunders at the worst possible time. Well, we said it was him that was putting pressure on Fabio Quattararo, on Alex Rins.
Down
and it's Rins
5.
who's caved into that pressure.
It's such an awkward corner to get right.
That mistake. He's done everything, and he can't find a way through, even to show Quattararo's front wheel. Cast your minds back to Austria last year. He just slipped up the inside of Andrea Dovizioso and crashed out immediately. And what very comfortable Sunday afternoon stroll in the sunshine to back-to-back wins here in Portugal.
Yeah, no surprise to see. He moved past Mir. He's now hunting down Zarco, and he's got much better pace as Pekka Bagnaia. This has been a fine run. Could have been done from pole position.
He's definitely going to be contemplating what might have been, isn't he? In terms of the championship lead, it might get a little bit worse for him as well, because he's going to have his hands full trying to keep Bagnaia at bay, and he can't do it. Bagnaia clean as a whistle, and Bagnaia now up into second place, and that does change the championship picture slightly.
Yeah, man, the only Suzuki man left in this race, the world champion Mir. He's in 4th. This is the battle for second then. Mir is now down and out of the race.
Rins blows a podium. Zarco blows a podium. He certainly blows the Fabio Quattararo. Championship rivals biting the dust. Quattararo checked out a long touch going into the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez last year, where what happened? He dominated both races from pole. No Jorge Martin after his high-speed spill yesterday, and that front went really quickly, didn't it, from underneath Johan Zarco.
Never so easy to be distracted.
That went so quick on Zarco. He wasn't expecting that, was it? It was almost like a...
Crashes up ahead of him. Marc Marquez is now in 7th behind him. Alex Marquez is 8th. Nakagami is what to say about Alex Rins. I agree with you, Matt. It's happened all too often. But two big men in this race have...
A bit of deja vu, isn't it, for this man, Alex Rins? You've got to give it so much credit to Fabio, Shinichi Sahara and Ken Kawachi, leading management down at Suzuki. They cannot believe it, can they? And he's potentially 25 have gone begging here in the Portuguese Grand Prix, and he is absolutely inconsolable.
Ashton remounted as well. Survival of the fittest here in Portugal.
It's all this but front row. He may well have been right at the sharp end of this race as well, with the likes of Quattararo and Rins, before Rins has put daylight now between himself and Joan Mir, almost half a second. Mir in turn's got a second then back to from in Qatar.
He's closing on Joan Mir. It's not over yet for him. Brad Binder's still doing an outstanding job on the KTM.
He's in Qatar. It's got even bigger here this weekend. He's digging himself out of some monumental holes, isn't he, Binder? 5th place.
The perfect start to the year in Qatar, unfortunately, comes down now from the helicopter view. Was he offline at all? The front end was just moving around a touch. Wasn't quite.
Ducati, well, as we mentioned, it's been a very punishing weekend for Pramac here in Portugal.
Here, Bastianini again. He does this so often. I say so often. It's only his 3rd Grand Prix, but he comes on. Army Vinales is 11th, Luca Marini 12th, and then it's Petrucci, Savadori, and Lecco.
His pain threshold off the scale.
Morbidelli can definitely smell a podium. Yamaha rider, this would be the perfect remedy to a grim start.
Italian flag. They perhaps feel like Franco Morbidelli's holding in on a podium here as well.
Able to wrestle a podium place away from the world champion, Joan Mir.
South American roots, of course, through the pack from 11th on the grid. Now, how much has that cost Pecco Bagnaia rear tyre life right
as well?
And I would not want to be trying to race the Suzuki and a Yamaha, Steve, through that final sector. You're not going to latch on to the back of Bagnaia over the crest and then line up a move on the brakes down the hill.
He's been very unlucky, hasn't he, so the Grand Prix of Doha. He's found himself in a position on the grid today, which I think
Mir and Morbidelli behind him.
Crossed the line, yeah, Morbidelli's the faster man. Brad Binder. Now, if Binder catches this group, it's too late, surely. You could just see him in the background. That's an extra 50% from somewhere, because his pace in this race is about a second quicker.
Drive by Aleix Espargaro on course for Aprilia's only their top six in their MotoGP.
What can you say about the man out front at the moment as well, Fabio Quartararo? This is a very different young man.
Different proposition to find a way through.
Who's that? Who is that on the left there? This is the battle for second between almost four riders.
Digging deep himself here is Bagnaia, desperate to cling on to that podium. Let's check, he's been untouchable today. Topped FP3, topped FP4, took pole position. Mir, a 10th just over behind Pecco Bagnaia. Franco Morbidelli desperately trying.
And Morbidelli. Quartararo's live heart rate just came on screen.
Shot up to 661 beats per minute. I thought it was coming up. F Quartararo, crash.
Yeah, same. Absolutely the same. Through Alex Rins into a crash. Quartararo is well and truly fired up in 2020.
On the Italian, you've got to give an enormous amount of credit to Pecco Bagnaia, because he really has.
So he's getting close. Does he fancy a lunge here, the world champion Joan Mir, or is he going to hold on to the first podium of the year?
The only place to end that second place. Franco Morbidelli, unfortunately, looks like he's just going to miss out on the podium, but
a Waltamy being made ready. Mir is going to try everything, but ultimately it's the power of the Ducati that will elude here. An excellent ride from Morbidelli. Binder as well in fifth. Aleix Espargaro sixth, and the returning Mark ahead of his younger brother Alex, with Bastianini finishing in ninth. And this is a scrap here. Nice.
Well, as we said, El Diablo in dreamland. That was pure class ahead of the field. Back-to-back wins for the second time in his MotoGP career. And he sees his confidence. And Johann Zarco. Great ride that by Pecco Bagnaia. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant performance.